say?
Flexing when we put up on the scene. Outcast, so fresh, so clean. Big drip. When you see us, yeah, we doing big things. Iced out chain, we just said it from King. Big drip.
These are going to be the questions that we're going to ask today. So Musa Darius can go ahead and tell his story because he's already here, Mr. Musa Bandana. So question number one, let's see. We also have one of our producers here and music video developers, Chris Jessick, so he might hop in as well. So Musa Darius, what is the introduction of your story and where did it start with your music career? So where did it begin? How did you start your music career? Where's your story with the music?
I've always done music since I was a little kid. Like I actually made my first song at 13, recording on a tape recorder, just using a tape and pressing record and just like that. And that's how I made my first song. But I've been doing this since I was a little kid. My family, I had older brothers that influenced me, inspired me into like making music. And then I went to college. I actually had a rap group in high school. Then I went to college. I made music, but then I postponed that to pursue a wrestling career because I was like very good at wrestling. And I was always going to nationals, like top in the country. I was trying to win like a championship. So like I postponed like music at the time because I was like really trying to get like #1 and be an All-American and national champion. But so fast forward, after I graduated kind I worked for a year. I wanted to find something new. I'm like, okay, I'm in New York. I kind of want to travel a little bit, but I also don't want to like spend all this money to travel. But what would be the easiest way to travel? And it's similar to what you said earlier. Teaching abroad, right? And I originally wanted to go to Dubai, but then all of a sudden I got messages and emails from Shanghai, and I always wondered about China. I used to always watch like Chinese fighting movies and stuff like that. But I actually wanted to experience the actual culture instead of just watching it on TV, like how other people watch things from America on TV and they only think what they see on the screen. So I wanted to have the firsthand experience myself. So I went to China. I came to China. And then with music, I just, started going to live shows. I just started doing live shows again. And then I didn't actually start recording music till like 2019. Like I arrived in late fall 2016. And I just started recording again in 2019. And then COVID hit, right? And
kind of derailed everyone.
Right. Yeah.
And other opportunities.
Yeah, and we started Best Life Entertainment. We started doing house parties, right? That was like at its pinnacle, at its peak at late 2019. We're gradually building, and then COVID hit,
boom,
and boom, just like that, everything postponed, pause. We had other people that were part of our team, and they had to go back, so. It was just really me and Ricky were the only ones that were able to stay in China. Right, Ricky actually left and came back right before the borders closed, and then I was trying to find other ways to make money because I had a job at the time that since COVID-19 came, it was hard to for schools to stay afloat. So what they did was start decreasing salary. So I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? I always had the hustling ability in my blood. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
So
what it takes.
Yeah, right. Do what it takes. So clubs started opening because it's slowly started getting better after in the summertime, I believe. And then I would just figure out why not MC? I'm naturally that's like what I naturally do anyway. I just have a microphone. So, I started MCing at clubs. I started meeting different people. Yeah, so while we were doing these house parties, then I was also in the club meeting DJs, singers, rappers. And then this is how we built this team together. And then we started actually making music with a group of people, and then we wanted to collaborate with Chinese artists because we're also in China, and we want to be, we build bridges, we don't burn them. So we wanted to have like build a strong community with foreigners and Chinese people, because usually it's like, oh, the foreigners are here, the Chinese people are here, but no, we bring togetherness.
Dope. So that's a good story. Like that's the intro to how BLE started and how Musa got into his hip hop career. So yeah, we have some other artists in the building. We have Carlos in the building. So all right, so this is Carlos. This is his first time in the presentation. We appreciate you coming here today. He's American as well. The same question is going to go to you. What is the introduction to your story, and where did it start with your music career? I guess particularly here in China.
Okay, so my story is Louisiana, a place just as hot as Shanghai is right now. I'm from that. But loving music from the beginning. You were talking about storytelling a lot. The first thing I ever loved was reading, because I like stories. And I like storytelling. So then it got me more into reading, which made me want to write. So I was writing, doing stuff with books. And then in school, I connected to music also because you got stories and entertainment and beats and vibes. Yeah. So when I was in school, I would make my own songs off the most popular song. If you got Jay-Z, Big Pimpin', I might make a track version of it. Cash Money had I Need a Hot Girl, I had I Need a Track Girl. But I would only share these with my closest friends and stuff. So I would do this, but I wasn't doing no performing or no trying to be an artist. I just couldn't help but make songs, especially when I was bored working with my dad painting. And so I would be just taking songs I already knew the lyrics of and making my own versions in my head just to pass the time, and just putting my own story to the same beats. And so then when the song would come on, in my mind, I'm playing my lyrics, but it might be Jay-Z, it might be whoever. Yeah. When I got to China, when I got out here, I linked up with Dia. Actually, I barely knew Dia when we were at some bar, and some other dude was just freestyling just for fun. He was just happy, and he just started freestyling. And he was like, "Oh, can you freestyle too?" I was like, "Okay." I started doing something. Dia was by the music at that bar. He's like, "Oh, wait. Let me put this a Millie beat on. I'm put a Millie, the Lil Wayne song." It's like, "Let me see you do some of this." So now I flowed to that. Then Dia was like, "You need to come to this thing called Up on Tuesdays." He's like, "They doing freestyle battles." And I was like, oh. He's like, "Come on Tuesday." And so that first Tuesday I came, that's the first time I met you, met Musa, met Med, met most of the original BLE people, are the post-COVID. So this is after 2020 COVID, when we were just coming back.
We're all here. Dang.
So that got me going. Me and Dia battling at Up, talking massive trash about each other. That just made us just even better friends. Just to be able to just tell somebody you, and then they tell you about you, and then you say, "Wow, that was great. I like how bad you talked about me. I like how bad you talked about me. Oh, let's be best friends." So from the freestyles, then Dia's like, "Let's do a song." We start doing songs, and then after that, I start getting with Med, Musa, AZ, whoever, and we just started doing stuff, and it just started going from there. So
dope. Thanks for giving us that introduction. So yeah, stories come from different roots. They grow like trees, but from different roots. But we all kind of end up in the same place. I want to try to bring in our one of our producers as well. He's in the background now, but I'm gonna pull him in so he can tell his story. So this is Chris. He's also American. He helps us make videos, edit videos.
Oh, nice.
Get a range of artists in that rap, that freestyle, the DJ, and also make the media, because it just shows the melting pot. So I guess the question goes to you as well, Chris. What's the introduction of your story, and how did it, how did it start in China?
Cool. I guess I have a pretty interesting background myself. I've always been a writer and always been a storyteller. But I started as a musician. I started playing guitar when I was 12. Started playing in bands. My brother is an amazing musician as well. And so he was the drummer for the metal band that I sang in. I was the guitarist for the ska punk band that he sang in. Yeah. And so it was always about music. But then when I went to college in New York City, I wanted to study film directing because I wanted to tell stories. And so that became like a really big center point. But then one of the biggest things with music for me as it evolved when I was living in Brooklyn, I was producing with my brother when we lived together. We had a music studio. We were producing a lot of hip hop artists, mostly Haitian hip hop artists.
Really?
And doing videos for them. Yeah, man, it's amazing. Still some of my best friends to this day. I wish they could come out to China someday soon. And then, so then, moving to Shanghai since 2016, I've got my own creative design agency, and I keep up all my video work, do all my music and DJing work still. I'm in my music studio right now. So, I mean, it's all about storytelling. It's all about music. It's all about video. So it's great to be a part, to be kind of adopted into BLE, to work with you guys in that way. It's been a privilege, honestly.
Yeah. And you're helping tell this story. That's, we got to be honest, most people, they prefer to watch things nowadays rather than reading or even listening sometimes. So you play an important role in storytelling when it comes to hip hop and music and just films or whatever you're making. It's how we learn. It's how we appreciate, the world and all the art, its form is through visual aids like video. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for that. Our second question is, each story has a climax or apex, a highlight where everything seems to be coming full circle. Basically, what's been the highlight, like the best moment of your career so far? We'll start with Mr. Bandana again. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave the screen like this. I think we can see everyone on the same screen, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Go ahead. You can answer that one.
All right. So I have a lot of highlights. One notable highlight.
Top of the mountain.
All right. One notable highlight is that because I'm not just an artist like with the MC rap and but I also I'm a co-owner of BLE, right? So so I incorporate my business and also my artistry into what I do. So one highlight I would say is the end of 2019, when we pulled off the craziest fashion show party ever. It wasn't just like I was also proud about it too, because a lot went into it. Like we almost failed. It was like 15 minutes before the show was supposed to start, our DJ to the party didn't show up. All right. So, but I remember 2 days before, we've been planning this for like 3 months, 4 months, right?
Yeah.
And then, right. And then it was like 15 minutes, like there was no DJ to the music for the fashion show. So how are we going to run a fashion show when there's no music? All right, we have the artists there, we have the dancers, we have the models, we have all these other people, but where's the DJ? There was no DJ, right? Yeah. Thankfully, 2 days before the event was supposed to happen, I called one of my friends that was a DJ, and I told him, I was like, hey, if you want to come out, to help out, you want to, we already had a DJ, by the way, that was supposed to be there, but I just called him, hey, if you want to help out at the party, you can come and join us. And he didn't respond for 2 days. And then he ended up showing up 15 minutes. And we put in a lot of work. One of our friends that worked together with this, but he has his own fashion company, Forever Labby. He does a lot of things, in the States too. He was here, but he also left because of the pandemic. Yeah. He was also involved in that. But I feel like this one is one of the highlights.
That's probably it. Yeah, I would say for when it comes to the company, that was definitely the highlight. Because we not only had rap performances, we had a runway with models, we had dance performances, we had a crowd, we had the bar going. It was like
tickets.
It was kind of surreal because we went from starting a house party to organizing like a fashion show. And I had never seen anything like this in China. Because you might have fashion shows, but you don't have like all these different musical performances, all this stuff going on. But we pulled that off, and that was definitely a highlight for sure.
How about other artists too that was there too?
Yeah, and we had other artists performing and whatnot. Hey, Lois, what about you? I guess you know, you've been doing rap, you've been writing a long time. What would you say has been like a highlight of your storytelling or rap career so far? Like,
Yeah, I would say so doing this thing for with my band. So I started got with these guys after like MCing for this one event. They wanted to add some hip hop. Two guys from France, so we started doing stuff together, and we did a show at Loafers. And from that show at Loafers, they had these people that run this thing called So Far Sounds. They do live music performances. Yeah, it's called So Far Sounds. They do performances in a bunch of different countries. And they have this cool little setup where the people buy tickets without even knowing who the artist is going to be. And they don't even tell you the location till a few days before. So they dedicated, I guess, like subscribers or something. Yeah. And so they had this like hidden location. They told us where it was, but they don't tell them till us a couple days before. And so it was Christmas Day, and we had 2 like hour-long sets basically. Yeah. So they had like 2 different artist setups, but because one of the like owners or producers, she had saw us at Loafers, she wanted us to kind of headline both of the 2 sets with our like jazz, funk, hip hop type of vibe. And so it's a good situation where you can really hear the music, because you know the club, you can get people going, but they can't always hear what you're saying. Yeah, in this environment, they can hear the instruments and they can hear the melody, and they can actually catch the rhythm, because I like to put the lyricism and everything on it. So doing that show, and then the response to the show, like I remember this one female, she was looking like this the whole time, like, and I remember I looked at her and I was thinking, don't keep looking at her, because like you're gonna mess up while you up here, seeing that she just had a serious face. Yeah. And she was like one of the main people came up to us after, like, oh, that was so good. I never heard like rap with that type of music. I never heard it like that. And I was like, oh, really? Because I saw you at the beginning. Surprising. And after I saw your expression, I told myself to stop looking at you while I'm performing. She was like, oh, I vibe quietly. But just that whole show, Christmas Day and everything. And that was when it was like really coming together. Like,
yeah, that's when you realize like this is working. This is what it's about. In front of a crowd, moving the crowd. Maybe they're connecting with your story, right? She came up afterwards.
Yeah, you can feel like the connection in a room. Sometimes you can actually feel oh, he's still going. Like, oh, you can see the vibe. I can see some of the people in the row, and I can see how they're moving. And it was like, okay, this is good. Yeah. So that's what made it like feel like
drip. In-house visuals, kill the club mission codes. All I want for Christmas is her under the mistletoe. We'll kill the camel toe, hotter than a flannel coat. Like Jack and Jill down the hill, shorty on the road. Sure the chatter, it don't even matter. Ask where you going, top of the ladder. She throw it at me, treat it like batter. Serve it like waiters, asking better. Look at these pockets, they now get fatter. Look at them haters, they face get sadder. Raindrop, drop tops, we move faster. This year, haha, fire on camera. Drip.
Yeah, I don't perform like you guys. But I always felt the greatest feeling as an artist, even a DJ for sure, is when you're looking out at the crowd and everyone's moving and dancing to the things that you create, to the sounds you create, to the words, or spitting out the lyrics, reciting the lyrics that you wrote on a paper one day in your bedroom or whatever. That's crazy. Like I've never had that opportunity, but I can imagine it's a great feeling. So
but Ricky.
What?
Ricky, you have done your spoken word for crowds, right?
Oh, you've done that for. I've done that. Damn, you brought that up. I forgot. So again, like if you don't know, whoever wasn't here earlier, I studied creative writing in college. That was my major. And so one of the things I used to do was write poetry. I have hundreds and hundreds of poems I've written in the past. And some of these poems I would perform in front of the crowd. And that was, I guess, one of those things. But there's no energy to it. Like the music, you can still connect with people through the spoken word or poetry. So that was a good feeling, because people would still come up afterwards, but you didn't feel the energy of it until after or like whatnot. But that's cool. Hey, so how about Chris? What would you say? It's been
just like everybody else, like, you always got rises and dips, like moments where like, you really, hit something big. I had a lot of those in New York, but as far as China goes, I'll just say in China, the biggest one for me, honestly, was establishing my own creative design agency just over a year ago, officially here. Like that's a big deal. Like I'm a business owner in China, and like not every foreigner can say that. and it's a creative design agency. And so like I not only do I get to work like in video, but I work with fashion designers, I work with illustrators, I work with musicians, basically everything creative. And so that's just cool. You know, it's like a blessing. And plus I work a lot of cross-cultural stuff. So I work with as many local Chinese artists and designers, if not more, than I do foreign artists who are here. So it's really cool. It's a great thing.
Yeah, man, just getting to start your own. I mean, I can say, like, I'm a business owner as well. Like, if they didn't know before, they know now. You know, like I helped run Best Life Entertainment with Musa here, and we have a lot of partners. We work a lot with locals, and that's just been the blessing. Is just like not only having a company or owning a company, but also the company brings people together, you know, and forms relationships, because we all know, you know, the relationships between countries, especially America, China, and whatever, Europe, isn't always fruitful, and it's sometimes contentious, but the music and the art bring people together. So I'm happy to have created a platform that has built friendships and collaborations in the music space as well. So I guess that's probably what my highlight recently too, that you can't take that away over the last, you know, 5 years in China. That's definitely the one. Question number 3, stories connect us. Each person from a different culture shares a similar journey with the next. How do you think your story intersects with local Chinese or foreigners? Musa, you can start. I'm just going to keep this order. So let's go ahead with that.
How does my story intersect? I feel like, you know, a lot of people might have similar stories, and, you know, just because I live in the United States doesn't mean somebody in China will have the same story. Somebody also in China could come from a background where their family, you know, also makes music and is talented. So I feel like my story, you know, ever since I was younger, you know, I was around people who either rapped or danced and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people in China are around people that, or have family members that sing and dance and things like that. So that's one way it connects. And then, you know, also, you know, wanting to explore different places and, you know, communities together through international language. So that is hip hop or music in general is an international language. All right. So this is something that I also connect with people in China, you know, MCing and rapping and making my energy connect with somebody else and have them appreciate my energy. You know, that's the best. That's the best feeling.
So that's how the story intersects. So what would you say? How do you think your story with, like, the live performance, discovering the bands, and telling the stories on stage, how does that connect, you know, or intersect, or where would you say it intersects, or who has it intersected with? I guess you can say that can.
Well, I mean, for one, like, that's the way I met you guys. So before that, I didn't know you guys, and I didn't know about the Tuesdays. Now, I'm sure we would have probably seen each other eventually, but who knows how? Or, you know, I might be getting on an out of cab, you getting in a cab, and we just be like this. We might, you know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. How I've related to, like, foreigners, Chinese people out here has also been through the music. Even like my band, both of those guys are French. English is not even their native language, even though all our songs are in English. So so it literally gives a reason to connect. You know, like, sometimes, let's even say if you're trying to talk to a pretty female, you might need something that starts it off. If she start off with nice shirt, well, the conversation begins. If you both waiting in line for something and you're like, man, it's so hot today, it begins. So if I'm already doing music, somebody's doing music, let's say Rum D, let's say Ace Bear, it puts you in the same spot, in the same situation. If I'm bobbing my head and this person bobbing their head, they can be from wherever, I can be from wherever. We get it started. Like, also with basketball, that's how I built my first community with the Chinese out here when I was in Chongqing, when I was in the north. The community I was living in, like a basketball community, but it was more than just the game. It was eating, drinking, of course, and they got me meeting their wives, their kids, and everything. But it starts off, they hooping, I'm passing by. They're like, "Oh, you hoop?" We start hooping, and then we start getting to know each other. Then they ask me questions about America. I ask them questions about China, and we go from there. So the music does the same thing. It's just a bridge to start that connection. Because music lets you put the words and express, lets you do both. And yeah, I also see these questions that they're asking, like hip hop versus rap.
Yeah, yeah.
Say,
we can
hip hop is like the whole umbrella.
Right.
Rap is like literal. You're making words rhyme to music, whereas hip hop is the whole cultural umbrella of it.
Right.
So that's throwing 2 cents in on one of those questions.
A lot of different things under hip hop for sure. Yeah. Hey, and Chris, what would you say? Like, I guess.
Well, a big part of my professional background in history is that I worked for admissions for a major design school in New York for 9 years. And a lot of what I was doing was working with international students who wanted to come study at my university. So traveling to China was one major international trip that I did, among others, and it kind of changed my life and why I decided to move here. And so because of my past experience, I work with a lot of students from China who want to go study internationally, and that's a big part of my business. And so I get invited to a lot of different cities throughout China to give like big lectures and workshops to kind of let them know what the experience is like, to give them insight into what it takes to go there and to get there, what life is going to be like when they get there. So I just feel so honored that, you know, that they welcome me, you know, to these different cities and all that stuff. And even though my language skills are really EDNDN, you know, I get so much support and everything like that for us to really share culturally, you know, and really no judgment there. There's just like a lot of love, and it's really mutual, and it's cool. It just makes me feel great, you know.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, getting around China and being able to share your experiences and your skills or trades to help other people grow and develop. That's it. That's intersection right there. You know, there's other people that want to learn how to develop film and TV and just music and producing, and they may not know, and you just come in there with your background and kind of like, you know, and then their skills and their background, and you kind of just develop their skills simultaneously, like in unison, but different backgrounds, same passions, and then, you know, teaching them to harness those skills to create. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all about creativity.
All about creativity. And that's basically it, you know. So we just wanted to answer 3 of those questions. We see some questions in the chat. Dance song like what, Lady Gaga? Okay. So one of the questions has been like, I think Carlos answered it, is what is rap and dancing. So we told hip hop's just a general umbrella. There's different elements of hip hop. Of course, there's the literal reciting of the lyrics, which is the rap. There's dance, there's DJing, there's MCing, there's choreography, which is dance. And yeah, there's in fashion, of course. So all these tell the stories. And yeah, dance song like Lady Gaga, could be Lady Gaga, could be any of those. That's basically it for today. That was the presentation. Just wanted to keep it kind of short and simple, invite some artists on, explain how hip hop tells stories and all these different elements. So
thank you everybody who's watching right now.
Yeah, thanks for everyone watching.
Yeah, a lot of people in this group.
You guys.
You've been anywhere in the world.
Yeah, you can be anywhere in the world, but you online with us.
Drip.